Make sure it's on.
Lovely. Hello and welcome to this first official group workshop, if you want to call it as well. I just want to say again, thank you for taking the time for watching it. If you are watching this live, fantastic. If you're not watching this live, not to worry, it will be saved and it will be posted on this timeline for the next couple of days or weeks. But also I might save it for my YouTube channel because it's always helpful to keep these forms of content. Now, for those of you who don't know exactly who I am and just joined in the group without knowing me all that much, I'll give you a quick introduction to myself. My name is Zach King. I'm a personal trainer working in the Berkshire, sort of Wokingham, mainly in Berkshire area, but mainly in Wokingham. I've been a personal trainer now for the best part of 5 years now, and in that time I've worked with hundreds and hopefully probably up to thousands of hours of personal training, working in different ranges such as fat loss, muscle gain, half marathons, even working with some clients who have had diabetes in the past and just trying to exercise around that. Now today, as I'm going to go through my notes, today what I'm going to be giving you an idea about is just give you an idea and hopefully give you some education, some stuff that maybe you do know, some stuff you might not know. So obviously from there it gives you an opportunity to take some value out of today's workshop, and again it gives me a chance to use this big old projector, if you want to call it also. Okay, so let me just scroll that down. Okay, let me just switch the light. Again, if you have any questions in regards of everything that I will be saying and will be talking about, save them for a personal message from me, because at least then if it's a question that I can't answer, then obviously I'll do my research onto it. But also, just to make it very clear, I'm not what I call a big classified expert on female fat loss. I'm just a personal trainer who's worked mainly with females over my 5 years, and I've had so many niggling questions which I'll come back to later on, and it's just more educate myself, and any information I educate myself on I take and give to what I say the world or to my clients, you ladies being the example. Anyways, let's get cracking on, shall we? So switch the light off with my big old beautiful projector screen for tonight. Hopefully it shouldn't take no more than about half an hour, maybe up to 45 minutes, but we'll see how we get on for time, because I'm hoping to get done by, at the very latest, 7:30, if not 7:15 also, because we've got a lot to talk about here tonight. So what are we talking about today, or tonight essentially? So we're going to be covering a lot of topics really tonight. We're going to be talking everything about for the menstrual cycling, about how to train, how to diet during your menstrual cycling. We're going to be talking about everything from PCOS, so we're going to be trying to go through the basics of PCOS, all based on my best knowledge. We're going to talk about amenorrhea and what that is, and oligomenorrhea, again if I can pronounce that right. We're also going to be talking about menopause in that lot, and then try and go through all the psychological and physiological aspects of the menopause. But again, it's just to try and give you some of the knowledge that I've learned over my time as a personal trainer, and then give to you ladies who are watching this. Also, if you do have Instagram or anything like that, and if it gives you any value, or if you can, it'd be greatly appreciated if you can screenshot me talking out of it and posting your stories, and then hopefully it gives me some traction, but also gives me a little bit of spotlight to know that I've made a little bit of an effort on putting together a slideshow that I've not done since 2004, 3, whatever year. What year I was in school, of course. So, I love this little quote. Women are the sole reason for the survival. Well, not of, but I was meant before. But women are the sole reason for the survival of the human race. That's the main thing we've really got to talk about in towards this one. Now, just going over to my notes for this one. Now, when we're looking at a woman's physiology, is solely responsible for the existence of the human race. Like, if women don't give birth, the human race won't exist. That is a fact. That is a fact on that one. When we are talking about, and that's why when women get pregnant, men don't. You know, myself being a man, well, I've not been pregnant yet, or don't realise I'm not going to get pregnant. But when we, us for men anyway, us men, we are very lucky that we don't have to necessarily carry, you know, a child for us for 9 months. You know, we can get about our lives very easily. For yourselves, ladies, or any women for that matter, your physiological aspect changes over 9 months. There are probably going to be a lot of mothers watching this, so they can clearly relate in towards that. And now, because of this, women have to store more body fat in readiness for pregnancy between the years of menstruation, and between the start of the first menstruation, so adolescence, to the last menstruation. And then it's also estimated that for women to survive pregnancy, they need to be having about 50,000 calories to survive pregnancy. And that's why I've always said that dieting females, or have been learning anyways, dieting females is very different than, say, dieting males. If that kind of makes sense out of it. Again, if it's back to front, let me know. I can always sort of spin that round, I can, to make it so you can make it more easier, which I will do. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll do that now quickly. You just spin the camera around so you can see it a bit better. Oh, there we go. Just sort that out over it. There you go. So at least then you can see what I've got on the screen rather than it going back to front, because sometimes these things can go back to front, especially the cameras anyways. Now, how do we achieve fat loss? Is it just simply eating less and moving more? Is it? Absolutely correct. And that's the end of the workshop. Thank you and good night. No, not really. No, not really. I wish it was the case, but we've got to take so many other different fundamentals of just then eating less, moving more. And I think when we go back to eating less, moving more, that's a very blunt explanation of actually losing body fat or losing weight and stuff, because it's not as simple as that. Maybe for a gentleman it is, or for myself it is, but when we take in consideration for you ladies, or when I take in consideration for you ladies, when I'm training you and stuff, especially if I've gone in one-to-one, it's very much taking things into a more what I call over-analytical view. So, unfortunately, I was only joking, but that's not quite simple. Not as quite simple as eating less and moving more, unfortunately, which I'll go through with you. And here's why. But most importantly, let's learn the lingo for today's workshop. Now, this could be. Don't worry, I'm not going to go very to what I call technical with you. I'm not going to go to this, that, and the other out of you. I'm just going to keep it really basic, really simple, because the way I like to teach or explain things as if I was teaching it myself or teaching it to myself. And I always like to think of myself as a very simple-minded person, so I've always like to think that I'll teach it to myself. That's not saying you are, but I just like to say I like to teach it to myself and be as more clarity as possible, like always over-explain things to myself. That's the only way I can really learn. Right, so that is that one. Now, this is a thing that I'm sure most of you have seen. This is what you call your total daily energy expenditure, and it's segregated in 4 different bits. Now, on this column here, you've got 2 sectors that break up these 2 or these 4 different sectors. Now, your total daily energy expenditure is essentially the amount of calories that you burn in total throughout the day, and this is how usually I work out your calories through fitness by calorie calculators, or just using some magical or non-magical calculations I've used in the past. But as I've said in the past, calculating your calories is never going to be completely accurate. They're just there to give you a numeric number to keep you accountable. Now, as I said to you, what you've got on this right-hand side here, you've got REE. This is called resting energy expenditure, and as far right here, on this far right here, you've got non-resting energy expenditure. And as I said, these are broken up down to here. What you've got, this one, BMR, stands for basal metabolic rate. Now, if you don't know what your basal metabolic rate stands for, or is it's the amount of calories that you burn just by simply doing nothing, just by simply breathing, digesting, or if you just be laying down all day. Because if you were to look at your fitness trackers, and let's say for example you would just have a lazy day of doing nothing, you'd be surprised to know that you'd still be burning calories even if you were sitting down on a sofa. I think it's something like maybe 5 to 10, maybe 15 calories per half an hour, maybe a little bit more than that. But obviously depends on breathing and digestion and stuff like that. So that's why the BMR takes such a massive chunk of component, just by simply you burn 70% of your calories just by doing nothing, essentially, which is quite an odd thing to say, really, isn't it? Your NEAT, so that stands for your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Now, the easiest way to think as your NEAT is simply what you've been doing for this past 10 days, 11 days, 12 days since you start to feel great in A, or working out your steps and stuff, is simply just doing your 10,000 steps. That is essentially increasing your NEAT. So increasing your steps is essentially non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or if you watch on social media, there's a big glorified thing called NEAT Up 24/7, which is just simply meaning get you to move more to help you make you lose weight quicker. But also with NEAT, there's more than one way to increase your NEAT. So not just walking to the shops, it's taking the stairs instead of the lift, taking the escalator, or walking up the escalator in London instead of holding on to one side. It means parking a little bit further away from the shops to get your steps in. It means doing the washing as opposed to using the dishwasher. Little examples like that really is ways to increase your NEAT, or to get your NEAT in. And that takes around about sort of 15% of your total daily energy expenditure. Then the next one here you've got is thermic effective feeding. Now thermic effective feeding means it's basically how many calories you burn by breaking down foods, or your body digesting foods and stuff. And that's why I always say that theoretically when it comes to protein, eating protein burns more calories because it takes longer for your body to break down proteins and stuff. So that takes around about what I call 10%. And then the final sort of 5% to 10% is actually your EAT, which is your exercise activity thermogenesis. And your exercise activity thermogenesis would be the amount of calories you burn by simply doing exercise. So if you go and look at your Fitbit now, you can only class to say, right, out of the amount of calories I burned today, only 5% counts as that, which you'll go, okay, that's not a lot really. And that's why I've kind of always said to everyone really, that working out is not a big priority. Making sure that you're getting your NEAT up, doing more stuff outside the gym is more important than just simply doing a workout. Yes, it's great for certain other things, but it only accounts for 5 to 10% of your total daily energy expenditure. But I hope that makes sense though. I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea on that one. I'll come around to see if there's any questions in a second also. Now, a lot of you might have seen, what is a calorie deficit? What is a calorie deficit? And what I've done is just done this for you. This is probably the most easiest way out of it. So what you got is calorie maintenance. Now, when you've had your calories worked out for you, some of you have different goals, some of you have pretty much the same goals. But whenever I've worked out your calories, it's giving me a calorie maintenance, which means the amount of these are the calories that I'd eat to maintain my weight. So let's say, for example, I wanted to maintain my weight at, I think it's like 69 kg or 70 kg. What I'll do is set my calories to make sure I maintain that weight for the duration, which I'll kind of give you an idea why this is going to be very beneficial. If you're looking to go into calorie surplus, so build muscle, then all you do is eat more than your maintenance calories, and then simply, if you want to increase fat loss or improve body composition, all you do is where your maintenance is, you just eat less than your maintenance calories. And it's as simple as that really. All I've done, for those of you who are looking for fat loss, it's just giving you about between a 15 to 20% deficit within your calories, and then making sure your protein's high, because again, your thermic effective feeding, by eating more protein, helps you burn more calories quicker, or helps you lose weight, drop body fat quicker.